Well, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if it's even going to do any good. I wanted to focus on um, them using my illness against me too, and I was trying to tie it together. I'm allergic to chemicals, and I've been made to really be soaked in them, and people have gone along with it. Um, where I've lived or up on the trail, they'd come up and soak my tents and sleeping bags. And that's not easy. I have really climbed Appalachian Trail, the mountains, and lived in cold and hot and without water and all of it. But now then I've been put in the position, I've tried to leave Roanoke and I'd have to come back to have a place to put it down in the forest. Well, it's a dead of winter now, and from the chemicals that's been used on me, my immune system has attacked itself. My liver, my kidneys, my vascular is really, a couple of years ago at Joseph's Way is when the stuff they used really has taken out my veins, and my legs are horrifying from it. And what's the rest of my body? My heart and my I look at my arms. You can have heart attacks, strokes, but now that I've been put in a position, it's bad enough these people should be arrested for assault and conspiracy, and I don't know what else. There's no they know that the law's telling them to do it, so they're not going to be prosecuted. So now then, when it's bad enough to have to go back to have a place to stay and hope if you reapply at these places. Well, I had to break a lease. I paid my money all along the way. So to go back and, in essence, beg them for a HUD, Section 8 again, when they should be locked up is pretty rough, you know. So this was what I wanted to focus on. Law enforcement, I just mentioned on the prior tape, the state trooper, Barton, and being up on Roanoke Mountain, or maybe yeah. Okay, they brought me down to affordable, and they paid the security deposit, and I paid the rest of it for 17 months. And they soaked me in chemicals there, as they did at the other affordable corporate suites and corporate suite on Northern Drive. I want to show you where I paid here by Gene Crofton. These people go to church on Sunday, or they pretend they're the part of the pillar of the community, and they've done all this in plain sight. Um, Now, I want to show you this. This is from Richfield. It was Edinburgh with Section 8, then Richfield, and then Joseph's Way. Now then, I've had to reapply at Melinda's Melody, which is a Reverend more like Joseph's Way was over in Bedford, a retirement community. Brand new. Both of these were brand new. Now then, Joseph's Way in Bedford, I stayed for 7 months. The end of 7 months, had to break the lease, or I would have been dead. I ended up back in Roanoke, and since I knew that they had one in Christiansburg, Reverend Moore owned, I applied there. And you've got Sandra, I think is her name, Scott. Her last name's Scott, the name of my son. In essence, it was a brand new unit, only 4 occupants in it, and they're large units. She wrote me back. I faxed her, and she wrote me back and told me that they had to do a complete background check on me, wherever I'd lived, and all of it worked. And then she came back and told me that I didn't meet the requirements and denied me. And when I said, well, where do I go to contest it, or can I see why you denied me? And she said, I don't have to. And she says it won't do you any good to pursue it. So this is HUD. I mean, they're treating me like the worst criminal on earth when they're the ones that have committed the crimes against me. And they're using the fact that I have broken the lease, and I don't know what. Suddenly, this Joseph's Way, I'd lived there. And then when I reapplied, because I had to leave to Christiansburg, Melinda's Way, which is a mower, what, just a few months later, suddenly they have to do a background check and all this, and they deny me. How come that a law enforcement, Terry Sawyer, took me to Joseph's Way, and I got in immediately, okay? Now then, I've got this letter, PHIPAA compliance statement. I've been putting this on YouTube because I can't get an attorney or anything. In essence, she's saying it contains, in essence, she's telling me that they don't have to give reasons. So I'm going to go on to the next. I'm going to show you affordable corporate suites, and Jean Croft, the manager, has signed it, and she tells where I moved in on August of '09. I always paid my rent on time, and to call her if there's other questions. She also says here, and it's to whom it may concern, that the reason I moved was that they suddenly upped my rent from $888 a month to $1,015, and I couldn't afford it. They couldn't get rid of me with the chemicals. And by the way, the state trooper law enforcement, his wife had taken me there to this one. Well, there were some murders happened after here. This is what I'm talking about, patterns. There was a Childs, and Tom Childs, I believe is his first name, and his wife's name Laura. And I don't find this funny at all, but neither do I find the fact that this country, really, law enforcement and all of it, have really used me as a whipping post. Let me put it that way. His daughter, Heidi, and her friend, I've forgotten his name, Metzger was his last name. They were students at Virginia Tech, and where those murders I've talked about. But they were killed about not 2 months, 2 weeks after I moved in there. Now, then, the state trooper retired is the one that put me there at Affordable Corporate Suites. 2 weeks later, state trooper, who's still working, his daughter and friend that both of them go to Virginia Tech, are murdered in the forest there. Now then, they had another one, which maybe I shouldn't, I'm in enough trouble as it is all my life. But Morgan Harrington, she was a student there. Her father is a psychiatrist they're a prominent family here in Roanoke and all around. He taught psychiatry, I believe I'm correct now, here at Carilion, but also at Virginia Tech. Now, I don't know if he still does or not, but his daughter, Morgan, went to Charlottesville, the University of Virginia, not long after I moved in here. I think it was in November of '09. So these are responses and murders done in patterns. And, these people know about it. And I'm the one that's put on the run and being gassed. And if I go to law enforcement, they just handcuff me and lock me up and call me nuts is what they would do. And yet they're the ones that's really behind it all. But Morgan Harrington's she went to a Metallic concert at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, and there's a lot of other murders that have happened there too. But anyway, they found her the following January, and all of this made me sad. All my life I've been overly caring and concerned, and along the way somewhere with what I have been through and what people have done to me, you kind of look back in bewilderment at how I'm treated. I didn't commit the crimes. They were committed against me, and I certainly didn't go out and kill anybody. I just told about it. But it's like they treat me like the villain. So I've shown you the Jean Craft, and by the way, she knows all of this. She helped do it while I was there, and I wouldn't say Terry Sawyer's the one that has gone with me at places where I would be denied.